So welcome everyone. This is our probably first time to do a student panel discussion like this about CPT experiences. And I had a chance to talk to Toma and Jade, and I was like, absolutely love your stories and experiences. And I wanted to highlight those students' experiences. And of course, we wanted to highlight our campus resources as well, including us. We are your resources as well, students. So I wanted to invite Andrew and Ruby to talk about CPT and as an international student, what to expect in terms of steps and what to do. So this is the agenda. So welcome from me, and then we'll go with the ISS presentation, and then a student panel with Jade and Toma, who are currently doing wonderful CPT internship experiences. And we'll invite Kelsey from CDC Career Development Center, and also Sarah from Office of Entrepreneurship and Innovation. And in between, we'll take questions from you as well. So Andrew will be doing presentation, and Ruby, another F1 advisor, will be contributing as a chat contributor. So Andrew, go ahead and take it over.
Okay, yeah, thanks so much for the introduction, Nami. And yeah, great to see so many, I can't say faces because you guys all have your cameras turned off, but yeah, good to see you nonetheless, welcome. So we're gonna talk a little bit about CPT today, curricular practical training. Really glad that you guys are thinking about this. It's a really, really amazing opportunity. We've seen so many people, CPT seems like such a small thing to start out with because you're only doing it for a couple of months during the course of a semester. But we found that over time, it turns into OPT, it turns into STEM OPT, it can turn into H1B, it can lead to all kinds of opportunities. So it is the first step and it's a smaller step, but it can lead to a lot of further great steps that take you to a really, really great destination. And for those of you who aren't aware, it's curricular practical training is what CPT means. And it's practical training that gets you ready for your career. It's got to be related to your major. So it's not just a work authorization. Many of our students, they focus on the work authorization part and the money part, and they don't focus so much on the training aspect, but it's supposed to prepare you for your career related to the major that you major in. So if you're looking at work that's outside of your major, that would be problematic for the Department of Homeland Security. But it requires prior approval, and it will require a couple of steps that we're going to talk about very shortly. You will need to get enrolled for it. You can only do it a semester at a time because you do need to be enrolled for it. You can't enroll like 2 semesters out, 3 semesters out. And so unfortunately, there's this process of applying, doing CPT, waiting towards the end, and then applying for the next semester if you want to do it continuous semesters. But we really do think that it's worth it because, like I said, a lot of people start out at CPT. And one thing that makes it really, really beneficial is it really looks good to companies, especially later on if you want to apply for OPT. When you're applying for positions for a year, 2 years, 3 years, if you have that CPT experience, it really, really looks good to employers. You don't seem like such a mystery. So who's this strange person from another country that do they speak English well enough to do their career? Do they have enough experience in their field? It takes care of those questions. And we've seen quite a few students who they'll start out with one company for CPT. They think it's just an internship for 1 semester. And then they end up spending 1 year doing JB Hunt, working for JB Hunt that they did for their CPT, they do it for their OPT, and then maybe on to their STEM OPT. And even if you're not working for the same company, so it can be a really, really great opportunity to get some work experience and a letter of recommendation from that same company. So there are a lot of potential doors that it can open. As far as those steps that I was talking about, I'm going to go ahead and show those to you right now. So let me go ahead, and I was able to share screen. Oh yeah, I've still got that. So yeah, just to walk you through the whole process of how to apply for CPT, because there are a lot of misconceptions about how CPT authorization works. So very, very often we'll have students are asking me, so how long is it going to take you to process my CPT? How many more steps do you have? And they're always assuming that it's on us to get them authorized. What our office does is actually very, very little, as you're going to see. You guys have to set up everything. You have to line up all the dominoes, and then we knock them all over at the end. But you have to get everything in order for us to be able to do our part. So that can be frustrating to some students, but you should actually find that very empowering in a lot of ways, because it means you guys have a lot of control over how quickly your CPT gets authorized. And so kind of counterintuitive, we're talking a lot about CPT. People think they need to get the authorization first and then they get the job. It's actually the opposite. So first, you obtain a job offer is the very first step for CPT. It can be an internship, it can be a full-blown job, it can be an unpaid internship, a couple of different possibilities. But the first thing is to get that job offer. And do we have some career resource people that will be talking later, Nami? Can you remind me? Okay, great, yeah. So career resource people are so great to talk to because they've helped a lot of our international students in the past. They're the ones to talk to because they're aware of what companies are more likely to hire you and which ones are less likely. So as international students, there are some companies that are less likely to hire you, unfortunately. We've had other companies, though, that are more interested in hiring international students because they've had great experiences with our international students. So talk to those career resource people because they can tell you about that. And then next, there's, of course, you want to have an authorization through the government. So of course, with the government, there's always paperwork. So you'll need to complete the e-form in ISS Link. So all of our international students know what ISS Link is. And if you're in the engineering department, you're going to need to go through the co-op. So that's step 2. And you'll notice our ISS office isn't even involved yet. So the only thing that's related to our office is the e-form, but you do that. We don't complete that ourselves. And yeah, this is the way it used to work in ISS Link. So that needs to be updated. But yeah, next, step 3. So you've submitted your form in ISS Link, or you've talked to your co-op, you've gotten your co-op information set up. Next, you need to talk to your academic advisor or your co-op advisor to get the approval for the CPT and to get enrolled. Again, many students, they click submit on the e-form and they think that they come and talk to us and that we need to do the work. So you guys will need to communicate with your advisors to make sure that they take care of their end of things. We've seen the form go to junk mail. We've seen advisors accidentally delete these because they just saw the generic message. So you'll want to make sure that you guys follow up with them. And then step 4, and you'll notice we're still not involved yet. We're still not saying talk to your academic advisor. Next is enroll in the course related to CPT employment. So your advisor is going to indicate on your e-form approval or your co-op form a specific course that you need to be enrolled in. And we can't do anything for you until you're actually enrolled in that course. And it has to be reflected in UA Connect. Very, very important. And I can't tell you how many times we've had students who have everything taken care of. They've applied to get into the course. They've been told that the registration will get taken care of, but it's not in UA Connect yet. They come to their appointment and we can't approve it. And so they have to wait longer for their authorization. And then finally, so once you get enrolled, you've gotten everything approved by your advisor. Now you can schedule an appointment with either myself or Ms. Ruby Bowles, who's been chatting with you guys a little bit. So we would be the ones to authorize your CPT. We would issue you in that same appointment a CPT I-20. It would have your work authorization on page 2 at the top. And then that's what you would take to your employer to be able to begin your work on CPT. And yeah, that's pretty much it, everyone. Nami, who are we handing it off to?
Thank you. So
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you so much. Ruby, thank you as well. So this is a part of 90 minutes presentation. So Andrew and Ruby, they usually offer the CPT workshop. It's been online, but it's 90 minutes, right, Andrew? 90 minutes info session usually.
No, it's not even 90 minutes. So usually that one is only about 60 minutes.
Oh,
So yeah,
1 hour.
when you get to OPT, we'll hold you longer. But yeah, for
Okay.
CPT, only about 60.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, but we wanted to kind of explain like what CPT is first of all, and then what to expect in terms of steps. But as you saw, a lot of steps are kind of on you. So I was talking to Jade and Toma, and I wanted to encourage them to share their experiences because their preparation, their motivation, it was just wonderful. And then I thought it would be really helpful for other students to learn as well. So I have a set of questions Jade, myself, and Toma kind of thought about, and then I'll ask questions to those two students, and then they'll go one by one, take turns, and then answer to those questions one by one. So that is going to be the format for today's conversation. So if Jade and Toma, unmute yourself, and then so as you all may have noticed, this is kind of low key for us. It's really conversation. So 3 of us don't have PowerPoint to show, but we hope you're going to enjoy our conversations. And then after the student panel, we'll open up the floor to you guys to ask questions. So Jade and Toma, please tell us who you are. First with Jade, name, country, where you're from, classification, what you're studying, where you do your CPT.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Jade. I'm an international student and I am from a small island in the Caribbean called Dominica. It's not the Dominican Republic, it's often mistaken, but we're a smaller island. I am a junior. I major in accounting and I minor in business analytics. And currently I intern as a finance and accounting intern with Tyson Foods.
Thank you. Okay, Toma, introduction, please.
Okay, so hi everybody. I'm Toma, Tomonari, just in case if you want to know my last name. Then I'm from Japan. I am currently a junior computer science major, and I'm doing an internship at the Science Venture Studio at Startup Junkie.
Thank you, Jade and Toma. Do I see your supervisor here right now? Katie smiling and waving. Okay, thank you so much for being super
I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you. So yeah, so question for both of you. So did you know about CPT before you proceeded with the steps? And how did you gather information about CPT?
You go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I did not know anything about CPT before. I was just honestly looking for an internship. And then when I got the internship, I worked with CDC, the Career Development Center, and then ISS to work out the process of like enrolling for CPT. But prior to that, I was not aware that I would have to do that to accept the internship.
Toma, what about you?
So, well, yeah, I actually did know about it because the Japanese student community here is kind of big, and then there have been like a lot of like Japanese students. So like some like older students just told me like there's an opportunity for like us to work as an international student and with the CPT endorsement. So I did know. I mean, I wasn't really familiar with like detailed like processes, but I did know about it.
Okay, good. Thank you. So students who are here today, they're like, you guys are ahead of the game, I guess. That's good that you're learning about CPT like this and then listening to the experiences. So both of you, so reasons why you wanted to do CPT and internship experiences. Jade, would you answer to this question?
Okay, I wanted to do CPT mainly because for the opportunity. I thought that it would look very good on my resume. It was an opportunity for me to learn more, to put into practice what I've been learning in my classes. And so that's just basically it. I just wanted an opportunity to work outside of campus and to learn as much as I can and to just make myself more marketable as an international student in general.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Toma?
So yeah, first of all, I just wanted to work, like have working experience in the States because I came here, like to the States just not only to study, but also like to experience like a lot of things. So, so that was the very like biggest reason. And also I was really, I mean, I am really interested in technology and then startup environment. And I do computer science. I do not really learn like how the startups work or how even like the business is like in the States. So I've been just coding, like writing code, efficient code, which is kind of boring. So I just like decided to like have like some experience out of the class.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Because yeah, you came all the way to the United States, and then classes, being successful in classes, it's pretty important. But that's true. I think expanding your experiences to off-campus environment and then have really hands-on experiences, I think that's pretty important. And that's why CPT exists for students. So overall timeline. So Andrew explained, some of the steps for students to be aware of. And could you tell us about your timeline? Like, how did you prepare yourself? When did you start to think about your internship? When did you start to do preparation? Like writing your resume, for example, or starting to practice your interview skills and things like that. When did you start? Like, can you tell us about your overall timeline? Maybe starting with Jade.
Okay, sure. My freshman year was very difficult for me as an international student. Being an international student is hard, and then there were also like personal reasons why it was very difficult for me. So I was not as active as I wanted to be as a student. So I would say that my preparation really started during my sophomore year. I decided that it's time to be more active. I came here for an experience, and it's time to kind of get into that. So I decided to join organizations like Leadership Walton and National Association of Black Accountants. And because of joining those types of organizations, I was able to get into opportunities like diversity mixers, where I would be able to meet with employers and practice my interview skills, or like practice speaking to employers. And so I really think that that's what got me my internship, honestly, because I remember being at a table with Tyson food representatives, and we had a really great conversation. And so I just happened to apply. And as an international student, we know that it's difficult. We're kind of used to hearing like, no, like you're great, but you're an international student. And so I just happened to apply at Tyson, and thankfully I was blessed with the opportunity. But I really think that going to those mixers and making myself known and taking advantage of all the opportunities through the activities that I participated in really helped me.
Was it intimidating for you to go to those mixer and then networking events and things like that?
At first, it was extremely intimidating. I would try to push myself to speak at every event, and I would be like trembling because it's really scary. But I kind of learned that people want you to be successful, and I will always talk about Walton College because I love Walton College. Walton College really gives you everything you need to succeed. They like anything you can think of, like support for your resume, interview skills. And so I used a lot of Walton College resources, and that really helped me a lot.
Thank you, Jade. What about you, Toma? Can you tell us about your timeline, how you got ready for your internship search?
Okay. So in my freshman year, I kind of had to write the first resume for my engineering class. So I think that was when actually like I started like getting prepared for like internship stuff. I mean, the resume that I had wasn't really good or anything. Like it didn't really have any experience stuff. And then in sophomore year, I feel like I need to have more experience. So I decided to do an internship in Japan because it was easier. It was like, like I'm not alien there. And so I did an internship and then kind of realized it's not really fun. It wasn't really fun. So like, I just kind of wanted to see like what it's like in the States, So I got really like interested in it. So I started looking for like jobs, and I also like started teaching myself like about like in like a lot of fields, not only computer science. And then in my junior year, so actually it was last summer, I think. So it was like because the COVID stuff happened, and then I got some free time, and then like I could focus on myself. So I just decided to start doing like a lot of like new things. I started learning user experience, user interface design, also like startup thing like human-centered design. And then last year or last semester, so I found the Mac Malone Innovation Studio, which the Office of Entrepreneurship office leads, Sarah is here. And then I joined it. And then that actually like opened like the door for me, like to like outside of like campus, like everything like outside of campus. Then I got to like meet a lot of people, and then like these people have like the same kind of passion like for like design or like startup and stuff. Working in general, I think. So, and then I got to know about this opportunity that I'm doing right now, the internship at the Science Picture Studio. And so I was like, and then I just got to know about it, and then I just applied for it, and then now I'm working.
That's wonderful. You had an internship experience in your own culture and a country first, and then now you can actually have an eye to be able to compare those two different working environments. So that is amazing. So I guess, so you were able to successfully find your internship site after your efforts like in networking and working on your resume and things like that. But what do you think really helped you to secure your internship site? Maybe Toma, you can start.
Okay, so I think the biggest thing is the related skills and the experience. Because the internship I'm doing right now is an internship or like the company that helps the startup companies kind of grow or start their business even. And then, as I said, like a couple of minutes ago, so I was working on a project at the Mac Malone Innovation Studio. I mean, which like, I don't know, it gives me like an experience to actually like do the research. I mean, from like start like something from zero, and then like at the end, like present something that like really is feasible and I think profitable, maybe like in business field. So that kind of experience like helped me to get a job and like or kind of like to stand out other than the others. Also, just like working experience in general helped me, I think, because not a lot of people have worked for like companies, like actually like, you know, for the companies. Maybe they might have done like some part-time jobs, but not really like for the companies as like full-time like workers. So yeah, I think these are the qualifications that I had, I guess.
Thank you. And also everyone, I just wanted to clarify. So Toma had this Macmillan Innovation Studio experiences, and Sarah from OEI can explain what the program is a little bit more at the end. So Jade, what is your like, you know, what really helped you to secure internship site?
I think I would say participating in the activities that I did, like joining NABA, Leadership Walton, and I also participated with the Macmillan Innovation Studio. I was a team member for one of their design-centered thinking programs that they had. It was led by Odessa Eli, who was a former leader in the studio. So I think having these things on my resume and networking, like I said, going to the events and actually speaking to people. And another thing I really try to do, because yes, Odessa is amazing. Another thing I really try to do is, because based on the resources that I got from Walton, is to kind of just be yourself when you're speaking to interviewers. So it can be kind of scary, but I just try to present my genuine self to see which company that would fit great with. So I think that's what helped me.
Thank you. Then, well, it sounds like you guys did a lot of preparation. I think you guys were really good at like connecting your thoughts and experiences into one line, which is amazing. But along the way, what was your challenge to find an internship? Because when you have a timeline, for example, that can be a pressure, you know, but like what was your challenge to find an internship? Maybe Jade, you can go first.
I think my challenge was really being an international student, because I really tried a lot of times, and they're like, you know, you're really nice, but we don't really offer opportunities to international students at this time. So it can be disheartening at times, just being honest. And you kind of feel like giving up, or like you're just gonna be told no anyway, because I applied for the internship at Tyson, but I was like, it's, I guess, a personality trait of mine. I just don't like to give up. So that's maybe what helped me too. But I did not genuinely, and I don't mean it negatively, I did not expect to get an internship. I was just like, I'm just gonna keep trying. So it can be hard to hear no, but just don't give up because you never know.
That's true. I think being able to like come up and then get up and then go, I think that's an important ability to have as well. Thank you, Jade. Toma, what was challenging for you?
There wasn't much. I mean, I think, yeah, one thing I can bring up is maybe like being declined by the companies. I mean, like the companies around here are really nice. I mean, like I've gotten like a lot of people like, running the business and like doing like workshops here, like in Fayetteville, Arkansas and Northwest Arkansas. I mean, they're really nice. I mean, if we say like we're from like, I don't know, some other countries and then we're studying at the UAI, they get really interested in you. But I've applied for like some companies like out of the States too, but they never like reply. So I mean, like being rejected or like feeling like being rejected or being like declined by like the companies or the people in general made me a little bit kind of like overwhelmed or like almost like kind of giving it up. But I mean, as Jade said, I guess, yeah, I mean, like if you don't really give up or like if you try to find something like near you, you might be like able to find something like that is a little bit more like that is a little bit like easier to find, like gather the information about, I think.
That's true. I saw Ruby saying like networking is very important because cold email, people can say no easily, but like if you know someone and then have a relationship already, that can turn into something for your internship or something. But it's harder to get no's, right? But I think you guys didn't give up and then moved forward. So that's amazing. Your resilience, I think it's important. So CPT, as Andrew and Ruby, they explain that it's curricular practical training. So it needs to be really tied with your study. So what are the benefits of doing CPT for your academic experiences? Like when we say professional experiences, yes, that's wonderful. But if I ask you, what's really the benefit for you to do internship for your CPT, for your academic experiences, what would you say, Jade?
It's very helpful for me personally because this semester, so with my internship, I use a software called SAP. And this semester, I actually had a class that was teaching me about SAP. So even when I was at work and I couldn't figure things out on my own because I intern remotely, so my supervisors are always available and very supportive. But as an intern, I try to figure things out before I go to them because I just try to do that. And so my class was actually able to help me with some difficult things that I didn't know off my head at work. So because I could follow the instructions given in my class about SAP to find what I needed for work. And also I use Excel a lot, and I had a class that taught me entirely about Excel. So in work, I get to practice what I learned. So I really see that it came kind of full circle with my classes and really helped me just improve as a student.
Yeah, so that experiential learning cycle kind of comes together. It's great. Thank you. Toma, what would you say?
I think I would say I've been like able to see how actually the technology can impact the world or the society, I think. Because like in class, I mean, because we're talking about the academic stuff. So in class, like I usually learn how to code, basically, like how to write the efficient code, how to run the system really efficiently or without any errors. But it doesn't really show anything. Like it shows you like error messages, like annoying error messages, or like, oh yeah, successfully like it got executed, but that's it. But like through the internship experience, like I actually got to know how like the technology can have like an impact in like the field of like energy, which I probably like would have never really like been like into or like looking into otherwise. So I think that was, I mean, that was a takeaway like for like my academic related thing from the like, internship experience.
Thank you. So yeah, a few more questions. I'm trying to be sensitive about the time as well. So what is the biggest takeaway? I know Jade, Toma, you are still continuing with your CPT journey right now, but so far, what is your biggest takeaway from your CPT experiences?
I would say so far my biggest takeaway, just on a personal level, is that I've met some really great people at Tyson. Tyson is a really great company. They are based on the 5 C's: commitment, caring. Cannot remember everything else right now, but 5 great C's. And everybody at the company is just so nice. Like, I got a card for my birthday, and I'm working remotely from someone like I've never met. He's like a boss in my division. So it's really just the relationships that I've made at Tyson personally. And I guess academically and professionally, like what I said, the opportunity to practice what I learned and to just make myself more marketable.
Thank you. It's amazing to know like how it doesn't matter how big the company could be, like it's relationship, like you can build relationship with those coworkers, and that's wonderful. Thank you, Jade. Toma, what's your biggest takeaway?
I think the really first one is the professional communication skills, I think, because I have never actually done it before. Like I didn't really like get exposed to an actual like working environment in the States in English. So like I'm pretty sure I got to be like able to do it in English with a lot of like confidence, which was the biggest. And also like personally, I'm really interested in like startup environments and like running the business by myself or by themselves. So like it was actually really like great for me to like get to know some people who are actually running the business or trying to like start their own business. Also, like I got to know a lot of like resources, and that can be like really helpful. Like whenever like I or like some people like want to start their own business, because like I got to know like some like copywriting people. Also, like the startup junkie in itself, is a company like that helps like people like start their own business. So these were the biggest takeaways.
Good, thank you. It's interesting to hear your, experiences with two different types of companies, organization. In a way, Jay's experience has been with a traditional company, and then Toma's, with probably smaller, but like Katie, your showing up here already kind of shows your support, and then your, good relationship with Toma as well. So that's amazing. So thank you guys so much for sharing your experiences. So the last question that I have is, because since we have so many students who showed up and want to think about CPT in the future, so what is your advice for students who are thinking about CPT in the future? Let's start with Jade then.
Okay, I would say to try to get involved on campus as early as you can. I know that it can be overwhelming as an international student, because I know it was for me. But what I really like about UARC is that you can get involved in things that you genuinely like and care about, because there are so many groups and so many things that you can join. And you also just meet really great people and make great friends, and that network is also important as well. So you get a really strong support system, and you meet great people, and you also get the opportunity to be introduced to opportunities. So just try to be as actively involved as early as you can as a student. And even if you're like on your senior year, you can still start now. It's not too late.
Thank you, Jade. Toma, what would be your advice for students?
I would say you want to find a field or like subject that you're really interested in, because as Andrew said, CPT has to be academic related. So if you're doing like engineering, and if you want to do like an accountant job, you can't do it. So first, like find like a field you're really interested in, you want to work or you want to have experience in. And then also, like as Jade said, networking is really important. Like unless you know something, you can't do anything. So just like talk to people, like be involved, like get involved in like a lot of like events or societies, or I don't know, like organizations maybe, or you can just like walk to your ISS office and then like, like talk to people then, or like career development center or innovation and entrepreneurship office to get like some information like related to like jobs or career or whatever like related to, I think, CPT experience or working in general. So yeah, I mean, these are the pieces of advice that I would give.
Thank you. Yeah, like we are not just the ISF, like we work with CDC, SAR, like Kelsey's office, Sarah's office. We want to collaborate with each other to help our students' experiences. So thank you so much. We would love to be as part of your resource as well throughout your campus life. So I think that was the last question that I had. And then, so it's 5:40. Okay, so I think we can open the floor up to everyone. If you or anybody has questions for Toma or Jade, you can raise your hand, or you can just unmute yourself and then try to speak, or you can put the question in the chat box.
I have a question.
Abbas, how are you?
Very well. How are you doing?
Good, good.
So thank you, Jade and Toma, for sharing your insights and everything. That was super helpful. So my question goes to both of you. So I want to ask, since you started your internship, have you noticed any skills or qualities that you lack and is useful in what you're doing? That's like the first part of the question. The second part is, okay, what are the skills and qualities you have that you find super helpful in what you're doing right now? And the third part is, what are the skills and qualities you suggest or advise students to start working on now for future purposes?
So what was the first question, sorry?
Yeah, the first question was, what are the qualities or skills that you think you lack in what you're doing right now?
So it's an interesting question. Jade, if you have it answered, go ahead. I'm like still thinking.
I would say qualities that I lack. I think for me, I'm not sure if it's necessarily a quality, but it's like two different cultures. Sometimes you're not sure what to do. Because maybe sometimes the way I would handle something in my culture would not be handled the same way in American culture in the workplace. So sometimes I would be like kind of nervous, like, did I do something wrong? Because my supervisor, as I said, my supervisors are awesome, but it's just like maybe from what I experienced back at home, I would be like, did I do this right? But I learned that if I did anything wrong, or if there was anything that they needed to correct me about, that they would simply tell me. So I didn't have to be like worrying. So I think that's just it. It's just you recognize that it's two different cultures and you want to make a good impression. So sometimes you can feel a little bit unsure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the answer for me would be project, not really time management in general. I mean, I really kind of suck at it, like in general, like not only for like job and then professional like wise, but I mean, I do jobs, but it like often becomes like kind of like really last minute to do it. So I think I wish I kind of like could have done like everything, like gotten everything done like earlier. So the second one was it the skills that we think are useful in our current job roles? Okay. Yeah, I would say the research skills, self-learning skills. Whenever like something comes up that I'm not really familiar with yet, I always like Google, ask people to like teach myself about it, and then get it done like successfully, like get the job done successfully. So I think that's a skill that I'm glad that I developed like before, or even like through the internship experience.
For me, I would agree with Toma. It's just be show initiative, I would say. So ask questions. Um, yeah, and I also try to like be as helpful as I can to other departments. So sometimes departments would come to ask my managers if I could help them, and I like never say no because it's an opportunity for me to learn, but it's also an opportunity for me to like give a good impression to someone else in the company. So just work really hard. And what was the last part? Sorry.
What's the skills or qualities that help you
Probably just
guys
more of
maybe in
like
the
an
future?
advice or suggestion. So what would you say students should or we should focus on going forward? Because there's so many noise in the background.
Mm,
Of what you've seen, what will you say, okay, let's filter these ones out and focus on?
mm,
Yeah, I think that's really a good thing to do, like focus on yourself. Sometimes like, you know, you're surrounded with like some other people who are not really like interested in working here or getting jobs here. And then I don't say like it's annoying or anything, but you know, it's just different. You know, they want to do it. They more like they don't want to do it, but you do want to do it. So like if you do want to do it, just go out and like find maybe like a community where like there are like a people who have the same passion or interest. I think you'll be really welcomed, and you know, like you get like a lot of like resources and information from them, I bet. So
for me, I think qualities is just really be hardworking because you have to remember that you're an international student. So push yourself to go that extra mile. And yeah, just be hardworking. And like I said earlier, don't give up. It can be disheartening, but just keep on trying.
Thank you, Jade Toma. I appreciate that.
yeah, of course.
Thank you, Abbas, for wonderful questions. And thank you, Jade and Toma, for answering to those questions as well. And let's switch gear, and then we can still take your questions in the chat box. So Jade, Toma, I might kind of encourage you to see the chat box as well at the same time, because we're going to ask Kelsey to talk about Career Development Center right now for about 2 minutes or so, and then we'll go to OEI after that as well. So Kelsey, take it away.
Thank you, Nami. Hey, everybody. Thank you for letting me join you today. This has been a real treat to hear about everybody's perspective. And thanks, Jade and Toma. This has been so fun, actually, to hear about your experiences and how you got to them. So like Nami kind of mentioned, I work with the Career Development Center on campus. We serve all students, regardless of major, regardless of if you're a freshman to a PhD, and we're here to help you find your internship, whatever that needs to look like for you and whenever that needs to look like for you. Kind of like Jade in particular kind of touched on, it can be a challenge sometimes as an international student to find the company that is the right fit for you and in a position to work with your CPT paperwork. That combo can be a little tricky. And unfortunately, our Career Center doesn't completely fix that for you, but we make that process easier for you and we make that process more efficient for you because we know the best way to go about the process, and we are here to teach you about it and to guide you through it every single step. So I'm wanting to kind of touch high level on some things today, actually. And the first thing to know is we meet with all students that ask, essentially. It is completely free, and we will meet with you as many times as you want and need. I have students I meet with literally every single week because they just want to have a touch base and it just makes them feel better and helps them with some of the accountability. We have students who just come in once a semester. We have students who will come in once ever. Regardless of what your needs are, what works best for you, we're here to help you with that. So I want to make sure that first of all, you know, we're here to help you on a one-on-one basis. Should you need it, we're completely free as often as you need us. In terms of what we do to help you through this process. So we start from the beginning and we can help you all the way to the end. So the beginning meaning we can help you identify even what kind of internship you want. I know for a lot of majors, you have a lot of directions you can go within your major and still be within the CPT requirements of tying your internship to your academic degree. Not everything is super linear all of the time. There's often forks. So we can help you figure out even what kind of options are available to you as an intern. And then we can help you with that search process. We can help you put together your first resume if you don't have one, or polish up an existing resume if you do have one. We can help you figure out where and how to apply. We can help you write cover letters. We can help you just with the actual act of searching for the job, teach you about different job sites, teach you about how to keep track of all of it, because I'm guessing you might know this, Jade, as well. Once you've applied to 10, 15, 20 jobs, they start to run together. You forget. I actually had a student a couple weeks ago reach out and say, hey, I just got offered this interview from somebody and I've never heard of them before. False. He had applied for the internship 6 months ago. And he just forgot, because that's what happens. So we can help you with that entire process. Ooh, I see a question here from Michael. Do we assist graduate students? Yes, absolutely we do. Where are we located and how do we get an appointment? Great questions. So the main Career Development Center is located in the Student Union on the 6th floor. And by that, I mean the 6th floor that's above the ballroom, not the 6th floor that's above the entranceway where student activities is located, if you're familiar with the separation. As for getting appointments, there's multiple ways to get appointments. You can go on Handshake, which is our online job site / database / everything. Every job we know about gets posted there, and you can actually search by, is this employer willing to hire an international student? That's a search feature. We require all employers to answer that question to make it easier on you. But that's also where you can make an appointment if you need to. And I'm gonna put a link in the chat for that in a minute once I'm done speaking, so that you guys can easily grab that. You can call our office, which I'll also put in the chat, or you can email, whatever works best for you. And during not COVID times, you can just drop by and schedule the appointment. And we actually have a career studio where you can drop by and just have your resume reviewed at any point in the day. So we've got lots of versions of you guys coming in and getting whatever help it is you want or you need. One thing Nami mentioned kind of early on when she was doing introductions is that we also can help you identify what companies are going to be international student friendly. They have a history of hiring or sponsoring international student and international peoples. And we can help you look through that, figure out how can I be strategic? If I'm going to put in 20 applications, I want to make sure those 20 applications are to companies that have an interest or are in a place where they're willing and able to use my CPT, right? And we can help you make sure that that's true more often than not. And that when you're choosing to apply to a company that doesn't have that history, it's a company you're really excited about, as opposed to just a random company that you know nothing about. So that's, I'm gonna pause because that's a lot of information, because we got a lot of data for you, a lot of info for you. And if you guys have more questions, I'm so happy to answer it. But essentially, big picture, we're just here to make this easy. If you have questions about how to find an internship as an international student, doesn't matter where that question starts, we are often the place that you can ask those questions to. And if for some reason it's a question we don't know, we know who to ask it to at the very least. So I'm going to put some of that stuff in the chat if you guys have other questions.
Are there any?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nami.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, yeah, I can get Kelsey and then CDC's information put together and then send it to you guys, because now you registered for this event. So I have your email addresses as well. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead and answer too.
Yeah. And so for the question in the chat, do you simply make an appointment and walk in if you want to learn all these things? So yeah, you make an appointment and then you just come in at that time. Right now, all of our appointments are virtual. Although I believe in June, we're going to start having some in-person appointments. But yeah, you just make an appointment and then show up in whatever form is appropriate based on what you selected for your appointment type. And yeah, we'll sit down for an hour and talk about whatever it is you want. Some appointment types are a half hour, but if we're talking kind of general high level questions, it would be probably an hour appointment. Like I said, if we don't get everything in an hour, we will get to it in the next appointment or the next appointment or the next appointment, whatever you want or need. All
Thank
right.
you. Yeah.
Well, if
That
you
was-
guys have more questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I can get back to Nami.
Sure. Thank you, Kelsey. So much information, and CDC is definitely a wonderful resource for any students and including international students as well. So make friends with Kelsey and meet with her every day. No, just kidding. But for your appointments, and then be ready for your internship and the future jobs as well. So now we have Sarah from Office of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, which I am so excited about. So Sarah, floor
Yeah.
is yours.
Thank you, Nami, and thank you so much for the invitation to be here. This is so fun. And Jade and Toma, I'm just so inspired hearing your stories and appreciate your vulnerability, just being honest about the things that have been difficult for you, because you know, you really learn the best when you put yourself out there and you take risks, as you both have done with your experiences. And part of that is creating a community where it's okay to be vulnerable and talk about I don't know, things that you still have to learn or mistakes that you made. So anyway, great to hear from you. And yes, Kelsey is awesome. I didn't know you're available to meet weekly, Kelsey. Be signing up for that. Okay, I am going to share some slides. You can see my presentation, yes. I'm going to keep it in this format because then I can see all of your faces and I can see the chat. And if it's too small to read at any point, let me know. Okay, so I oversee the Office of Entrepreneurship and Innovation. And when people ask me what that is, I always answer by saying we're a community, first and foremost. We're for all students, we're for you, no matter what your major is, no matter what stage you're at, if you're a freshman, if you're a senior, if you're a graduate student, if you're even a postdoctoral researcher, we are for you. And I think we offer a lot of programs. I'm going to tell you about some of them. But the most important thing that we offer is connectivity to other people from diverse backgrounds who are passionate about changing the world in some way. Some of them want to start companies. So you heard from Toma about working with a startup and being part of a team of founders that's trying to get something new off the ground. Other people are interested in sustainability or social justice and want the tools to solve problems. Other people are just thinking about, what does innovation mean for me in my career path if I'm going to go work in a company or if I'm going to be a scientist or stay in academia. We really believe, this community of people, we really believe that having this mindset, this toolkit to think like an entrepreneur, think like an innovator, is relevant no matter where you go. So I want to start by welcoming you all to the community, because once I meet you, I tend to try to stay in touch and hang on. We have 3 places that are really our home base, and you are welcome to all of them. And I'm going to focus on one, which is the Brewer Family Entrepreneurship Hub. And the reason I'm focusing on that, it's there on the right, it's just off the Fayetteville Square on West Mountain Street, is that it's open to everyone in the U of A community at any time. You can walk in, the doors are unlocked during business hours, so from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. We have training spaces, co-working spaces, private offices you can kind of rent and use it to meet with your team or just have some privacy. And when you come and hang out there, we have a big open area. It's called the living room, where in a normal year there's coffee on tap flowing. So hopefully we'll have that again soon. When you come and start spending time there, you will meet really interesting people. It's just a fact. You will start to see the same faces, you will start to be plugged in, and you don't have to commit to anything. You just kind of have to show up and sit there and see what happens. Our other 2 spaces are really for people who are in our programs. So the Macmillan Innovation Studio, which Jade and Toma both participated in, is a place where you can join a project team, where you work on a problem over the course of a semester, and you get a team of mentors. And the mentors usually come from companies and nonprofits in the community who are all really interested in the problem. So the problems have ranged from everything from food insecurity to trying to figure out faster ways way to deliver items during COVID to, there was one team that worked on the problem of truck drivers having really high dissatisfaction with their jobs and poor mental health. The problems just span a whole range of things, but what you get to do is really work on something that out in society, out in the world matters. Some of the positions are paid, so the team leaders are paid well. You have to have some experience to get that kind of position. And the rest of them, you just come to our website and you apply, and you get to meet the other students and form the team based on the problem that you're interested in. The Startup Village, you also have to apply to get into, and that's for founders. So the Startup Village is located, it's kind of halfway between the Brewer Hub and campus. It's on the corner of Dixon and Block. And it's for students or alumni of the U of A who have formed a startup, but they're at that very vulnerable stage where they don't have revenue yet and they can't afford an office. And they apply to get in, and we give them an office, and they join this community. They get a mailbox and a desk and all the things that you get when you have an office, until they get to that stage where they're making money and they can afford to graduate out of the Startup Village, and then they become mentors to the new cohort of teams. Speaking of mentoring, we have it for you at any time. So if you're sitting there with an idea, so you're thinking like, oh, I met with a student last week who had an idea for a new umbrella, and it's like kind of a brilliant idea, actually. The way that he wants to design it, you fold it up and you put it in your bag, and it doesn't get your bag wet, and it fits in a cup holder. Really cool idea. And he had no idea how to actually begin creating this. So he signed up for an office hour with us. We met with him. We helped him understand the process, the kind of method that he could take, and connect him into the programs that made sense for him to move his idea forward. So if you have any idea at any stage for a new product, a service, a company you're thinking about creating, or just want to learn more about entrepreneurship and innovation, you can email us at any time and sign up for a virtual office hour. Or when we get back to being in person in June, we always have open office hours at the Brewer Hub every Friday afternoon. So you can pop in without an appointment and meet with us then. Every semester, we also offer a series of workshops, and these are free. You'd register for them just so we know how many people to expect, but they're open to all students. And we have what we call this core series, which is a series of 4 workshops. They're 1 hour each, that introduce you to the principles of thinking like an entrepreneur. And if you do one of our programs, like if you do the Macmillan Innovation Studio team program or many of our other programs, generally we require you to do the 4 core workshops, but you can also just come in and attend them anytime, sign up for whatever you want. And the rest of them are based on the needs as we hear them from students. So we change these workshops every semester, and we're constantly surveying and asking students, what do you need? What did you try to do that you couldn't accomplish? What are you interested in? And so like an example is this flying solo series that came because we had students saying to us, I don't want to start a company. I want to be a freelance writer, or I want to be a consultant, or I want to be an artist and learn how to sell my paintings on Etsy. How do I be a business of one? And we said, oh, that's a whole thing. It's called solopreneurship. We'll do a workshop series on that. And so we did. So you never know what you're going to expect from us, but if you want something, let us know. And chances are, we might ask you to help us design it, but chances are we'll be able to pull it off for you. And you can learn about those and everything we do by signing up for our email newsletter, and I'll put a link to that in the chat. Co-working, I mentioned this, but I wanted to show you what the space at the Brewer Hub is like, just so that you have a sense of how comfortable and open and inclusive it is. We really do want to meet you, and we want you to stop by. So please do. My office is also there. So if you want to say hi to me and get some time and talk about some more of these things, I'm happy to meet if I'm not already scheduled. Okay, since we're here to talk about OPT, I did want to mention 2 internship-like programs that we have. We've had many international students participate in these, and I welcome you to come to us to learn more. One is called the Venture Intern Program. So this is a program where we recruit students from all disciplines, and it's only open to juniors and seniors. And we recruit startups in the community, and also some, we call them ESOs. These are like organizations like Startup Junkie that exist to support startups. And we do a lot of matchmaking to pair a student with a startup over the course of the semester. You work for 15 hours a week for 12 hours, and the pay is $15 an hour. You're employed by the university, so the payment comes from the university, and you enroll in a co-op course. So you also get 1 to 2 hours of course credit for this. It is a great way to learn entrepreneurship by doing. Like Toma said, you have to have this attitude of, I'm going to figure it out. And that's how entrepreneurs think. You're going to be part of the founding team because it's small and everybody wears lots of different hats. So we have a diverse array of opportunities, so we can help you find something that aligns with your degree program, because I know that's a requirement of OPT. But you can be guaranteed that you will be asked to step out of that core expertise from time to time. And that's part of the benefit of working with a startup. You might be an engineer one day and an accountant the next day, and you might be cleaning the floors the next day because that's what has to be done because you have a donor coming in or something. This is a highly competitive program. So I encourage you, if you're interested, reach out to us, learn more. We can help you craft your application so that you have a likelihood of getting through the gate. And it's just competitive because we have a limited amount of funding and number of slots for it. The second, which you heard about from Toma, is the Science Venture Studio Fellowship Program. And Katie's here, she runs this program and she's brilliant and wonderful, and you should all apply so you get a chance to work with her. But essentially we designed it with an intention of making it open only to graduate students, but we've had can you still hear me? I'm frozen on my screen. Yeah, okay. We've had a couple of exceptional undergrads, including Toma, apply and get in. So in this case, you are paired with a startup that's a client company of Katie's program. And that startup is getting support from Katie and Startup Junkie to go through the process of hitting their next important milestone. And for most of them, this is a big mega grant application. They're trying to get funding from the government to do further research and development and develop their product. So you get in there and you get great mentoring, but you get very hands-in helping them get to this milestone. And it is a fantastic window into a world that not a lot of people get access to, which is this sort of technology-based, high-growth, sophisticated startup. It's messy, it's hard, but I've heard from all of the fellows that they've had a terrific experience. And Katie just told me that applications for that open May 17th. And Katie, did you have anything you wanted to add about it?
No, I don't think so. And if you guys have any questions about like international, like how does that work, or I'm nervous about because I'm an international student, feel free, and I'll put my email in the chat so you guys can connect with me. I would love to connect with you guys. I have loved working with international students. I think you guys bring so much to the table, your tenacity, your willingness to go the extra mile. I mean, it's phenomenal. And it's phenomenal that work ethic really plays well into the startups, because like as Sarah said in the chat earlier during the meeting, that is an entrepreneurial mindset. So you're paired with this entrepreneur that's going the extra mile, putting in the hard work. And yeah, so feel free to reach out to me. Would love to connect with you guys. Even explain a little bit more about the the commercialization fellow process. And if you have any questions, love to connect.
Thanks. I'm so glad.
And I hope, yeah, as Sarah said, I'm wonderful, but hope that doesn't put me, you'll probably find out, oh, she's
wonderful.
Yeah.
She's wonderful. Okay, last thing. I want to touch on this. I don't know if we have any graduate students in the group. Actually, I saw Rogelio, so I know we have at least one graduate student. But at any rate, I'd like all of you to know about it. I'll touch on it briefly, and then if there's time for questions, I'm happy to answer any. We have one really deep, and when I say deep, I mean it's a big time commitment program for students who are very serious about learning how to become a founder. Meaning you may not have a business idea, you may not have a technology, but you really want to be an entrepreneur. And this is called the Graduate Certificate in Entrepreneurship. It's a 1-year curricular program. It's 12 hours. These are the courses. It's all on our website, so I won't stick on that except to say I teach 2 of them. I teach New Venture Development 1 and 2. A lot of companies have come through this program over the years, and not all of these, but most of them are technology based. And that's the strength of this program, because we recruit students from the STEM fields, so chemistry, engineering, biology, and we recruit students from the business fields. We get MBA students, accounting students, finance students, and so forth, as well as others. We have an art student this year, which is just amazing to me. And they form teams. And it's really hard to be an entrepreneur if you're not working with people who are very different than you. So the strength here is that if you're an engineer, you get to work with an artist and a marketing student. And the goal isn't to start companies. The goal is to learn how to develop a strong business model and to evaluate ideas. So you don't waste 5 years of your life building a company that's never going to go anywhere. So we want to help you have the skills to launch the right companies. But a lot of students do actually launch their business in the final semester of the program and get funding for it. For those of you who are interested in communication skills, one thing that's a really big part of this program is pitching at business plan competitions. We're very good at it. As you can see from this chart, we've won more of these than any other university in the country over the last 10 years. And we invest very heavily in bringing you the mentors, the coaching, the training, all the things that you need to do well. And we love the wins because it gives you prize money. But the most important thing about the competitions are the practice. You learn by being vulnerable, putting yourself on stage, answering hard questions, doing that again and again. You just get skills that you can't get by reading a book. Very hands-on. The last thing I will note, and this is a big deal because we've just launched it and we've tried so hard for so many years to get this funding and we finally got it. We have a fellowship program that allows you to do, if you get into the fellowship program, it will be competitive. It allows you to do this 1-year graduate certificate in entrepreneurship and be fully funded. So you would get a GA if you don't already have one. And on top of that, you get a stipend. So for master's students, it's $8,000. For PhD students, it's $12,000. Applications are open now. If this is what you're interested in, please reach out to me directly. I would love to meet with you individually. For everything else, I'm gonna put it in the chat. I mean, you can reach out to me. It's just that I'm slower than the person who monitors this. Email oai.uark.edu with any questions you have about any of our programs, and that Kristen who monitors that will channel you to the right person on our team to answer them. And I'm gonna put our website in here. And that's that. Thank you.
Thank you for the wonderful, wonderful information. I truly believe those two offices are going to be students' great resources. Regardless, if you're going to do internship, great. If not, still wonderful, because I'm sure your guys want to build your future career. So after graduation, what you're going to learn from those two offices are going to be really, really helpful at some point. So thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Kelsey, for sharing your office information and also sharing your contact information as well. And then we'll definitely follow up with all the students about your office's information again. Any questions from students? We have about 4 minutes, so.
Hello. I'm Joseph Joel, and I'm very, very grateful for everyone today. And I just got the information I wanted all my life. I mean, Kelsey, Katie, oh my, and Sarah. I just came in this semester, and I'm just wondering, I'm in the chemistry department, and I'm just wondering, can I be able to join this stuff for entrepreneurship?
Everything, yes.
Apply for everything.
So, okay, well, I'm very, very happy. I can't regret coming into this meeting today. That's what I just wanted to say. And I'm so happy that I got that.
Thank you for the sweet comments. I know those wonderful people. I'm so happy that we could collaborate with you guys. So, anybody else? Any questions?
I have one more thing. Toma and Jade, you guys are amazing. And I'm so glad that you guys were able to present amazing yeah, phenomenal. So, and I'm so glad that I was able to join as well, but really loved what you guys had to say. And I
Yeah,
can't wait to see where you guys head. Like, I am just super excited for you guys. Just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for coming up to the event, Katie.
Thank you.
Wonderful. It's nice to see, like, there is a really wonderful supportive community like this. So even online, like, we don't want to give up, and then our life still, keeps going on, and internship experiences as well. So again, thank you, students, for sharing your experiences, and then also offices, Sarah, Kelsey, and Katie, thank you for joining us. And we have a director of ISS office. I'm wondering if Michael, I'm just going to put you on spot, but Michael, do you have any final thoughts to share with the students?
Every time I hear these people talk, I get excited that we have this resource here at the University of Arkansas. Just amazing. So students, tell your friends about it. Get the word out that this is something that University of Arkansas has that not many other institutions have. And you've come to the right place to come to the University of Arkansas. So make use of these resources and talk to your friends and get them all involved.
Thank you. So yeah, so it's 6:15. So I guess it's time for us to wrap up. So myself, Kira can kind of be around. Kira, I'm kind of forcing you to be around, but I'll be around a little bit longer. But I just wanted to say thank you again to students for participating and then sharing your space with us this evening. And again, all the speakers, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and experiences. So I guess that's it for today. So thank you, guys.
See you guys.
Bye, Toma.
Bye.
Bye, Jade.
Yeah, thank you for organizing it, Nami.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great workshop, Naomi. Thank you.